On a seemingly ordinary day, a school bus picked up my child like it always did, but something sinister was lurking in the shadows. As the days passed, I waited at the end of the driveway for the school bus to bring my kid back home, but it never came. Panic began to consume me, and when I contacted the school, they denied any knowledge of my son ever arriving there. He got on the bus. I insisted, met with an eerie silence on the other end. Their response sent chills down my spine. We don't doubt he got on a bus, but it wasn't one of ours. Desperate and terrified, I reached out to the school for answers, only to discover that 18 other children had experienced the same eerie disappearance that morning. The police were investigating, but there was an unsettling sense of secrecy surrounding the case. They assured us they were working on it, but offered no further explanation. Haunted by the memories of that fateful morning, I tried to recall any details, but the bus seemed like an ordinary yellow school bus with nothing unusual about it. The routine had become so mundane that I wouldn't have noticed even if something peculiar had occurred. As the days passed, the parents of the missing children gathered at the rec center, clinging to each other for support and solace. Tears were shed, and wild theories were discussed, but no solid connections between the children could be found. They lived in the same neighborhood and attended the same school, but there seemed to be no other link. Some believed a cover-up was underway, suspecting the school or the bus company, but nothing concrete emerged. Fear spread like wildfire, and some parents kept their kids home, refusing to risk their safety until answers were found. 2 days after the disappearances, the parents received a disturbing package in their mailboxes, a white envelope containing drawings from their children. Each drawing depicted a school bus in various unsettling scenarios, on the edge of a cliff, underwater, in a burning barn, and in the depths of the darkest woods. On the back of the drawings, written in sinister cursive, were the chilling words, "It's just a little trip." Yesterday, the horrifying truth began to unfold. The police reported finding a field, halfway to California, filled with 18 scarecrows donning the exact clothes our children were wearing on the day they vanished. The scarecrows stood eerily in the field, a macabre representation of the missing kids. And nearby, inscribed in the mud, were the haunting lyrics, "The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all the way." Today, I stand on the curb once more, the fear overwhelming. I've taken up smoking again, a futile attempt to calm my nerves. I wait for the bus, just like every other day, but each passing moment makes me more terrified than the last. The sound of a diesel engine approaches, and a yellow school bus comes rolling around the corner. My heart races with hope, but it's short-lived. The bus has children on board, but none of them are mine. The horror of the vanishing school bus continues, and the mystery surrounding it deepens. What sinister force lurks behind these innocent appearances? Are our children forever lost in the darkness, trapped in an eternal nightmare? Only time will tell, but the fear remains, haunting us with every passing moment. The haunting reunion of Brimwood. There's a saying in the small town of Brimwood, nobody leaves Brimwood for good. For years, I'd managed to defy it. In the decade that followed my graduation from Brimwood Academy, I had hardly set foot in its vicinity. I absorbed myself in my studies at an out-of-state university, and, eventually, my career. However, a sense of loneliness had crept into my life after a breakup with my long-term girlfriend. It was during this period of isolation that I received an unexpected letter from my old high school. The invitation was for the Brimwood Academy class of 2013 official reunion, signed by the co-chair of the reunion planning committee, my old friend, Alan P. He requested that I make the trip back for the reunion. Nostalgia and curiosity got the better of me, and I resolved to attend. As I arrived in Brimwood, a sense of foreboding weighed on me. The once bustling streets were eerily quiet and deserted. The town seemed desolate, as if something had sucked the life out of it. I pushed the unnerving feeling aside and made my way to the school. Brimwood Academy stood tall and imposing, just as I remembered it. The brick building emanated an eerie aura, sending shivers down my spine. The decorations inside, meant to be festive, looked almost unsettling. Ignoring my apprehension, I headed to the gymnasium, where the reception was supposed to be held. However, when I entered, I found the room devoid of people. The decorations were there, but the atmosphere was inexplicably empty. I searched for familiar faces, but found none. A sense of unease settled in as I wondered where everyone had gone. Had the reunion been moved to another location? feeling anxious, I messaged Alan, hoping for answers. He informed me that everyone was on the third floor, in the old history classroom of Mr. Thompson. Confused but hopeful, I made my way to the third floor, where my old memories resurfaced. The hallway seemed haunted by echoes of the past. I remembered the bullying that occurred here, the pain that some of my friends had endured, and the guilt of not standing up for them. It was as if the school itself held on to these memories. Upon reaching Mr. Thompson's classroom, I hesitated before entering. To my surprise, the door opened by itself. Inside, the room was brightly lit, but there was no one there. Instead, I was greeted by rows of anatomical skeletons, eerily posed as if participating in a macabre gathering. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was all an elaborate prank. However, when I called out, my voice was the only one to echo through the empty room. No one responded, and the unsettling silence persisted. As I tried to make sense of the bizarre situation, I heard Arthur's voice coming from the hallway. Worried for my old friend, I rushed to find him but was met with an empty hallway. No sign of Arthur or anyone else. Determined to get answers, I opened a nearby locker, only to find Arthur's torso inside. He reached out to me in agony before being dragged away into darkness. Shocked and terrified, I stumbled backward, trying to escape the haunting vision. As I ran down the stairs, I was met by more ghastly apparitions of my former classmates. The school seemed to come alive, tormenting me with the sins of our past. The haunting visions of bullying, suffering, and cruelty engulfed me, and I felt the weight of guilt and shame pressing down on my shoulders. In a desperate attempt to escape, I fled the school and drove away from Brimwood, haunted by the horrors I had witnessed. The town and its dark history seemed to follow me, and I couldn't escape the feeling that something malevolent lurked within its walls. When I reached the nearby town of Roseville, I was pulled over by a police officer. He recognized me as Dawn and Fran's son and warned me never to return to Brimwood. His reaction puzzled me, but I didn't dare question it. I just wanted to be as far away from that place as possible. Back home, I tried to forget the nightmares that had unfolded at the reunion. The photographs and the cryptic note I received only deepened the unsettling feeling. I decided to bury the memories and focus on building a new life elsewhere. Weeks passed, and my ankle healed, but the scars of that night remained. I made an effort to join a social club, hoping to find new friends and forge a different path. Brimwood and its dark history were not places I wanted to revisit. One evening, as I sat alone at home, a package arrived. Inside was a photograph of me and my friends at the reunion, surrounded by the smiling faces of classmates who were supposed to be there. The note hinted at something ominous, an invitation to return to Brimwood for the next reunion. The past was calling, urging me to confront the demons I had left behind. But I knew better. I burned the photograph and the note, vowing never to return to Brimwood. To this day, I don't know what forces lurked within Brimwood Academy, but I do know that nobody truly leaves that town behind. The ghosts of the past still haunt the halls of the school, and those who dare to return may find themselves trapped in a nightmare they can never escape.